Hi everyone, this is the first layout that I created using the Studio Calico front row kit and add-ons. I had a bunch of pictures picked out for scrapping this month. I went through some old photos in January and picked out a couple that I knew I wanted to scrapbook. So this is one of the very first pictures of Scott and I when we first met. And so you see me going through the papers there from the Studio Calico front row kit, which is the February kit. I also have the matinee and popcorn add-ons. And I'm just going to trim out some of the extra distracting parts of this photo and make it into a 4x4 square. And then I think I'm going to end up cutting it down a little bit more because I want to use one of these Polaroid frames. The one that I end up using is a pink paisley one. And I just have it set up there so that I just had to trim it a little bit so that it would fit the way I wanted it to. And now I'm going to glue it down using my ATG to just put some glue on the frame. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to result in some extra glue on the back of the photo where the picture didn't pick up the glue, and so I don't want it to stick to things as I'm playing with it, so I just put some washi tape over the sticky parts. Now this is some Jenny Bolin paper from the kit. This was the paper that I picked out as being the one that I was least likely to use and really didn't like in the kit, and here it is, the first paper that I'm using. So I just thought the Boy Meets Girl was pretty fitting because this was one of our first photos of us together. And I cut out the Boy Meets Girl and the two little people in two different ways, just because I wasn't sure which one I would want to use. So I just cut them both at the same time, just so I'd have them. And then I just used a Stampin' Up! Punch to punch that American Crafts paper with the hearts on one side and the arrows in black on the other side. And I have that colorful chevron paper in the back is a basic gray paper from True Love collection, and the stripe is from the Pebbles Seen and Noted collection. So that's the one I'm cutting right now, is from the Pebbles. And I'm just cutting it with my hand just with my scissors because I don't want it to be perfect. And so I'm going to layer those two like this, playing around with which one goes in front. But I really love that striped paper, so I wanted it to go in front because I love it. Using my my ruler there to tear off a piece of the vellum. That's a really nice vellum. You probably can't tell in the video, but it has a tiny little subtle chevron print on it. It's really, really nice. When you tear vellum, it gives it quite a bit more texture along the edges, and because the edges turn white where it was torn, so it's almost like its own little outline. Just trimmed up those papers a little bit more now that I had a sense of what direction the layout was going in. I think I've also decided on which of the Boy Meets Girl embellishments I wanted to use. It's just a piece of paper cut out. And now I'm just cutting off the decorative strip on the bottom of that paper. On the other side is the manufacturer's strip. And I cut it so that you could catch both the pink decorative border and some of the black from the paper. And then on the top, I'm just using the pink strip. I'm going to outline my hearts. Well, I don't need to outline the black one because it's already black, but I'm also outlining my Polaroid. I'm going to cover up a lot of this Polaroid. You're not actually going to be able to see that it's a Polaroid. Now I'm using my .005 pen to outline that pink paper just because I didn't want it to be too bold, but I wanted it to match. I knew I was going to outline all of the other papers, and so I didn't want one to stand out as not being outlined, so I just outlined it with a really, really fine pen. .005 is the finest pen that I can find. So now I'm going to use my sewing machine to stitch some black thread along the top and bottom of the layout, just over those strips. And the black thread is going to bring some black into the top because the bottom had some black in it, so I wanted to make sure that the top has some black as well. I'm going to bring some black elements up there too with some hearts. And I'm just using my fingers to add a bit of dimension to those strips. I often do that when I sew. So now I'm just layering all those papers in there and adding adhesive where I need it. And here's a little tip. When I'm using these foam dots, I'm only taking the adhesive backing off of them in the very center, so that if I want to add more things, more layers, I can do so and I don't have to worry about moving those dots. So I'm just having a look at some of the embellishments that came in the kit. There are some Studio Calico wood veneer arrows that are exclusive to the kit, and those geotags as well. And then there's also some freckled fawn wood veneers. That arrow with the word love in it is an example of the freckled fawn ones. So now I'm cutting some of these. This is a piece of basic gray paper, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's basic gray. And I'm just, yes, it is. And I'm just cutting out some pieces that I might want to use for layers. And playing around with where some of the embellishment will go. I decided right away where those layers would go. I knew that the Boy Meets Girl was going to overhang, and I just wanted something behind it just to give a little bit more interest down there in the corner. So that's what that layer will do, and I'm going to add some more right here. So I'm just taking a piece of pink paper that's the back side of one of the other papers I've already used, and just created a little banner that I'm going to put that Boy Meets Girl on, because it's just a plain cutout from a piece of paper, so I wanted to give it a little home to live in. So it wasn't just kind of floating on my layout. Adding the heart in behind the Boy Meets Girl. It's kind of in between, actually, the Boy Meets Girl and the pink banner, and that kind of anchors that flag onto the photo. And oh, my husband gave me some candy. I'm going to do some stamping now. I'm using the Project Life stamp that came in the Project Life kit from Studio Calico this month. And that has a little grid-like thing that says week number, date, and notes. And I stamped that in black, and then I used some Bubblegum Hero Arts ink to stamp Our Story Starts Here, which I think is also from the same stamp set, the Project Life. Then I used more Bubblegum Hero Arts Shadow ink to stamp This is How Our Story Begins, which was another stamp that came in the kit, up in the top in pink, and I'm putting some black punched hearts beside it, and that's from that American Crafts arrow paper. That's hearts on one side and arrows on the other. Now I'm just using some letter stamps. Right now I'm putting some Bo Bunny letter stamps on to mark the year 2001. Above that I have Kaiser Craft stickers that say November, and then for week number I just put week number 1. This picture was actually not taken in November because there were some Christmas decorations in the background that I cut out, but the exact date, it was taken in December. The exact date of the picture doesn't matter, because my purpose of this layout is to kind of document when we first met, which was, right before Christmas. And so we technically first met in November, and I just wrote down in my own handwriting, we met at Le Bistro. That's the restaurant that we met up at. And I'm adding a little wood veneer arrow to that black punched heart. I'm using Stampin' Up! Punches for all of those hearts. And those top ones are from another Stampin' Up! Punch. It's called the Heart to Heart Punch. I don't think they make it anymore. So this layout is kind of shaping up at this point. I've got a good sense of, what the overall feel is going to be for the layout. Added some washi tape at the top and bottom. That's really nice gold with clear stars on it. And then I decided to put another little wood veneer right on top of that arrow. I love that. So now I'm going to use some Potty People, and I totally blatantly copied this idea from Karen, and I'm not going to be able to say her last name. I'm guessing it might be Adamski, but it doesn't look like that's, I think that's wrong. Anyways, I have her on Facebook, and she keeps posting these awesome projects, and I love to look at her work. And one of the mini albums that she posted used these little potty people, and she put little hearts on them. So this was my first layout that I made after I saw that. And so my main objective was to use potty people in this layout so that I could put little hearts on them. So you'll see me do that in a few minutes. The kit came with a ton of those vellum speech bubbles, so I'm trying to get one used on this layout. It doesn't even put a dent in the number of speech bubbles that came with this kit. So I took an old sassafras sticker, and I had a look at the Amy Tangerine vellum hearts that are similar to this, with the sewing down the middle of them, and they were all too orangey and yellowy and bluey, like they didn't have the right colors. So I just took a sassafras sticker and punched a heart and layered them and ran my sewing machine down it, and so I basically just replicated the Amy Tangerine embellishments. I spread a couple of what are those? My mind's eye enamel dots. A couple of steps ago, I was blabbering on when I did it, so I didn't talk about it, but those are enamel dots, the little red shiny bits all around the layout. And so now I'm just, I don't have many masks. This is a really old mask. I wish I had the Plano one from Studio Calico, but I just don't. So anyways, I just used my white opaque mister Huey's to do a little bit of misting. I didn't want a ton. And then I used some black mister. It's called warm calico, but it comes out as black, especially when you drizzle it instead of misting it. And so that kind of made some mist and some splatters on my background. And I didn't get it down far enough in the corner, and then I got too much down in the corner, and I was like, oh no, I went on top of my stickers. But the stickers are shiny, so the mist actually didn't stick to them, so I just used my paper towel to wipe it off really quick. And yeah, so there's a little bit more mist, and it's a bit messier down there than it is in the other areas, but that's the joy of using inks and mists and stuff, right? So then I had to restamp the Our Story Starts Here stamp, and I actually really like it doubly stamped there. It adds quite a bit of interest and dimension to it. So that was a happy accident. And so yeah, this is really coming together now. Just gave you a quick shot of the two corners. And now I'm trying to decide which fonts I'm going to use. These black journal letter stickers, these are one of my favorite fonts ever, the journal, which I think it mostly comes with Amy Tangerine sets. But this one is a black foam with glitter on it, and it's just awesome. So, and it came with the kit, so I've decided to use those letters instead of those other awesome pink ones that are foil. Save those for another time. And then I'm picking an ampersand. These letter stickers are from Snap, and they also came with the kit. And I'm using an ampersand, and I was going to use the letters IN for in, but then I changed my mind. I'm going to use a different letter sticker for that. And now I want something behind the ampersand and the word in, just to kind of ground them a little bit. And so I took one of those Jenny Bolin labels, and I just kind of placed it while I had my wax paper there, just so I'd know it was in the right spot. And I was going to pop dot it, but it looks like I didn't. I often pop dot the two ends of flags so that they will stick out a little bit. And so now I'm just going to line up all of these letters. I had to add a bit of my Zig pen, glue pen to the ampersand because it kept popping off of the Jenny Bolin banner sticker. I'm just going to kind of smudge those around enough until they're in the place that I want them to be. And now I think I'm almost done. Yes, I'm just going to decide where I'm going to put those potty people, and I'm going to put them right there. And now what you're not seeing is, I'm not sure. Ah, yes. Sorry about that, guys. I had to cut that paper because the title didn't fill the paper properly, and so rather than figure out what to put above the word young, I just decided to cut the paper down, and then I added an outline to it with the matching pen. And then I'm off screen here because I zoomed in, so sorry about that, guys, but I've also added some wood veneer hearts right beside the word young, and now I'm gluing on the potty people, and I think I also put the love arrow wood veneer from Feckled Fawn up in the corner, but you can't see that either. Adding another wood veneer arrow down here above the boy meets girl. I finally zoomed out, so now you get to see some of that stuff that I just talked about. And I don't have a tiny little punch for hearts. I don't have that. I think Martha Stewart makes a really nice heart border punch that gives you little heart cutouts. So what I did was I went into my Cameo offcuts. I keep my Cameo whenever I make like a little negative shape or whatever, I keep the little offcuts in a little container. And I knew there were some craft colored hearts in there. So I just used a Stampin' Up marker to color them real red, and use some glue to glue them onto the potty people. So they're too big that I couldn't put them each over to the left, so I just put them in the middle. So now what I'm doing is I'm just repackaging my thickers because they're brand new. They came in the kit, and so I hadn't switched them over to the 6x12 bags that I put all my thickers in. So since I had them out, I thought rather than putting them back in the old package, I put them in their new home. And here you get to see a close-up of my stitching and that little cluster with the stamp, "This is how our story begins," and those punched hearts, and over here you get to see those wood veneer that I put right beside the word young. And yeah, so I really like how this cluster turned out, even though I went a little bit overboard with the misting. I think it looks okay, and I love the double stamped "Our Story Starts Here." So I think that's all I have to say about this one. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you have any questions or comments, just feel free to drop me a line in the comments section. And thanks so much for watching and for all of your guys' awesome comments and support.